So, in my last video, we spoke about Street Fighter 6 and what my hopes and dreams are for it, what to expect, and what I hope they do going forward with the franchise. Regarding the characters, moves, story mode, whatever else it may be. Also, in that same video, I spoke a little bit about the other bit of news that Capcom dropped, which is the Capcom's Fighters Collection. And I kind of want to touch a little bit more on that, seeing as I didn't really talk too much about it. I'm definitely excited, and I hope you all are excited as well. So let's talk about what to expect, what they're giving us, and what this could mean potentially going forward. And with that, welcome to SHOYOUCAN, the place where we talk about Capcom, specifically the 90s Capcom stuff. So if you're a fan of fighting games and just Capcom stuff in general, please think about subscribing and sticking around. So the Capcom Fighters collection came out, and in that collection, of course, we got some Capcom goodies, some old school fighting games that haven't been, well, some haven't been released properly, while others have. But the good thing is too, they all gonna have rollback netcode. All of them are going to be online, and they're going to have rollback netcode. Now, just because they have rollback netcode doesn't quite mean it's going to be good right out the bat. We kind of have to wait and see how it gets implemented and how it's done. So, there's that. But at least they mentioned those keywords, so hopefully it'll be fantastic. In this Capcom Fighters collection, we are getting Cyberbots, a whole bunch of Darkstalkers games. In fact, I want to say all of them, right? I think I saw one, two, three, Vampire Savior. Yeah, pretty sure they were all there. I gotta look at it again, but we're getting a bunch of Darkstalker games again, which you've already had. We're gonna get Red Earth, gonna get Pocket Fighters, Super Gem Fighter, or Super Puzzle Fighter, however you want to say it. Hyper Street Fighter 2 Turbo, or that collection that came out on the PS2. And I said Red Earth. I believe those are all the fighters. And if I missed one, I'm sorry. But the main reason why I want to record this video is I want to talk about the big elephant in the room, and that is Darkstalkers. As we all know, Darkstalkers is a classic Capcom fighting game. It came out during the Street Fighter era, more specifically kind of towards the end of Street Fighter 2, towards the Alpha series. And Darkstalkers has always been great. It's always been that flashy, cool looking game. The designs were really nice. The animations were beautiful, just drop dead gorgeous. The gameplay was super fast. It was very attack minded, and it was very cool. You kind of felt Capcom was just letting loose, right? Whereas Street Fighter is more like it's their bread and butter in terms of sales and what they do. So because of that, though, it's also very refined, and they pay close attention, and they won't do anything to kind of break the norm or go crazy with it, right? Darkstalkers was that. It was Capcom just being unfiltered and just letting loose and kind of saying, hey, let's throw this in there. Hey, let's do that in there. Hey, let's make the characters look crazy. Hey, let's give them these finishers. It was just nonsense, and just beautiful nonsense, though. I loved it. And I think if you are a fan of Capcom fighting games, or just a fan of 2D fighting games in general, you would also love Darkstalkers. As you see, it gave birth to other fighting games, specifically games like Skullgirls, and even in a way you can kind of say games like Melty Blood have also taken their inspiration from Darkstalkers. But as I was saying before, everyone's talking about, well, here goes Capcom again releasing Darkstalkers in a collection, old school games. Why not do another Darkstalkers, right? We've been asking for and wanting it. And that's fantastic, and I would love to have a brand new Darkstalkers. And I definitely do agree and hear the anger from people where it's like, we keep buying old school Darkstalkers. When are you just gonna just do a new one? The thing is, Darkstalkers, while definitely has its dedicated fan base, it definitely has a small cult following. It's never really been big compared to the likes of Street Fighter, right? Street Fighter far dwarfs Darkstalkers really in popularity. It's just how it is. Now, part of it is, Street Fighter came first. It was kind of like the first mainstream mainstay fighting game, even though it wasn't the first fighting game ever. But it kind of feels like it, right? It feels like Street Fighter 2 was the very first fighting game. It was definitely the very first acceptable fighting game. Um, but so because it came first, Street Fighter will always have a special place in people's hearts, including myself. But Darkstalkers still was very good. But like I said, it always trailed behind Street Fighter. So where the ones that came out on PlayStation and Sega Saturn did reasonably well, they still paled in comparison to what Capcom wanted from Street Fighter. And that's another thing too we gotta look at. Capcom's projections or what they wish or hope for a title to do are pretty whack. I mean, this company they want something to do, 5, 6 million copies that hasn't been around for decades, and it is pretty crazy. But at the end of the day, these are their standards, these are their charts and their metrics, so we have to go by them. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this, and that is that if you want another Darkstalker game, but not just Darkstalker, just any other old school Capcom fighting game, if you want it to make a recovery or come back, then you do need to buy this game. That's that's just it, plain and simple. The more people buy this Capcom Fighters game collection, the more we let Capcom know, hey, Street Fighter's cool, Street Fighter's nice, we're happy it's back, but can we also look at the other franchises, the other games that you have on the backlog, the Rival Schools, the Star Gladiators, the Power Stones, the Darkstalkers, the Cyberbots, Techromancers, I mean, Capcom's got a lot, right? So clearly, I feel like this has to be a test. I think this is them just once again testing the waters. And the thing is, there's precedent, right? They've done this before when they released Darkstalkers. Forget the official title for it, but they released Darkstalkers on PS3 and Xbox Live. And it was like a collection, and it had Vampire Savior and Vampire Savior 2, I think. Or no, it had Vampire Savior and I think it had Darkstalkers 2. And essentially Capcom officially came out and said, yeah, we released that game to kind of gauge the audience and gauge the reaction, and if a lot of people bought it, then we would move forward with another Darkstalker game. Well, naturally, a lot of people did not buy it, and while that does upset me, you can kind of see why they didn't. It's like you keep re-releasing these old titles, right? It's bad enough you already have all of those Darkstalker games on the PSN store. You then re-release it again, but in a collection on PSN store. It was hilarious. But like I said, look, this is their game. These are the rules we have to play by, and I just definitely feel it. I feel like this has to be a test, and they're once again gauging the audience reaction. They're gauging the interest for these titles, and specifically, I'm pointing out or singling out Darkstalkers because there's so many Darkstalker games in this collection, right? Like they just stacked this collection full of Darkstalker titles. So clearly, it's like Capcom's going, hint, hint. Yeah, we want to see, if you like this. So, look, I know it's upsetting, guys. I know a lot of you probably don't want to repurchase this game. I mean, I myself have these games over and over and over again. I've purchased Darkstalkers on the Sony PlayStation, purchased them on the Sega Saturn, I've purchased them on the PS3 for the PSN network. I've also purchased them individually on the PSN network. I've purchased it on the Sega Dreamcast. I've purchased it on the PSP. And I think that's everything. Long story short, every time Capcom has released Darkstalkers or re-released it, I have purchased it. So I know for us fans, us diehard fans, it can feel a little aggravating, like, oh my goodness, I've already bought this game so many freaking times, why are you doing it again? But I don't think they're just talking to us. I think they're also once again talking to the casuals, the people who are fans of fighting games, specifically 2D fighting games, but haven't really checked out Darkstalkers, who might be aware of it, or might have seen it, looked at the cool funky designs, but said, no, I'm not gonna get it. No, it's not really Street Fighter. I think they're trying to reach out to those people in addition to the diehards, right? So hopefully people purchase this. I will. This will be the umpteenth time I've bought a Darkstalkers game, but I love the series. I will purchase it because I want more. I do. So please, I'm hoping this title does not bomb. I'm hoping that people go out and buy it. And I'm hoping too that please Capcom don't have some ridiculous metrics for this title. Like you expect it to sell like 8 million copies. Please no. Because that is unreasonable. Okay? Hopefully it's, pretty reasonable. Maybe like a million, maybe even 2 million, but I'd say like a million, Set the bar low. Alright? Number one, these are old games. Okay? A lot of people haven't heard of these games, especially this new generation, right? They haven't heard of these titles. Really, they're depending on a lot of us old school diehard Capcom fans to go purchase it, in addition to some casuals who like fighting games. So you can't expect this game to sell like Street Fighter 5 numbers, or Devil May Cry or Resident Evil. You can't. So hopefully they've set the bar pretty low, pretty reasonable. But I hope people do it. I hope people buy it because I would love for these titles to make a comeback. I absolutely loved that era of Capcom where it really felt like they couldn't do anything wrong. I mean, we had all these Mega Man games from X4 to X5 to Mega Man Legends 1 and 2. Hell, we had Mega Man 8 to, like I said, Rival Schools, Rival Schools 2, even though that did not come here. And I'm not talking about Project Justice. There was a legit Rival Schools 2, but it was more of an expansion on the first one. To the Star Gladiators, the 10 million Street Fighter games, the Alpha series. I mean, the Alpha series was fantastic, and even titles like Pocket Fighter and Puzzle Fighter, which have tons of charm and fun. Like you just felt like they were just, as I said, having fun, just putting these titles out, and I want them to kind of go back to that era, that feel. Because that's the Capcom I grew up with. It's the one that I fell in love with. They're definitely doing much better now, so fantastic. I am happy, but I want them to do other fighting games aside from Street Fighter. I love me some Street Fighter, I really do, but I also love me the other stuff. I really do, and I just feel like this is Capcom testing the waters. I don't know for fact, but they've done this before, so odds are that is exactly what they're doing. And if this title does sell well, I think we can see some other franchises making a comeback, and then also hopefully if this does well, this inspires them to do like a 3D collection, as I said earlier, do the 3D titles, the Power Stone, Rival School, Star Gladiators, so therefore we can maybe get those games back and we can bring those franchises back. It would just be fantastic to have other fighters aside from Street Fighter, and not even just fighting games too. Breath of Fire was an awesome RPG. I love the Breath of Fire series. Dino Crisis was pretty cool, which is just a Resident Evil clone, but still it was cool. So I just want more of those titles back. I really do. So I'm just pleading to people. Look, if you like Capcom, if you like these titles, just give it a purchase. It's also just a really cool, good collection to have. To have all these games just updated and modernized, and well, hopefully, as they say, right? But yeah, just me giving my 2 cents on the whole thing, explaining what I feel, what I think they're doing, acknowledging some of the anger and people being upset. But hey, man, this is their game. We gotta play it. And if you truly do love these series, love these games, love these franchises, especially Darkstalkers, then please go support this game. Go buy it. Show them that yes, we are here, we love this series, and we want it to come back. Please. With that being said, guys, take care and have a wonderful rest of your day.